What's going on, guys? Welcome back, Clash of Clubs. Just finished watching Chelsea Arsenal. Gonna give the five things that I learned after watching today's 1-1 draw. First thing we learned, red card FC. We are back. That's our seventh red card in all competitions, including Maresca sending off against Liverpool. Dylan put that full court press on me last time we recorded to ask if we were title challengers, and these sort of incidents are the reason I continue to have those reservations. We always talk about the lack of experience, and although Caicedo is a very experienced player in our team, you almost feel like this was bound to happen. Unfortunately, it comes in one of our biggest games of the season, but always gives everything into his challenges. And of all games, we're talking about the midfield debate, Caicedo, Rice, all that good stuff, and it's a red card every time. I always scream about consistency with referees. We saw Bentancur get away with a similar challenge, but that doesn't mean this is not a red card. We were playing really well up until this point. Thought we were really competitive, and a really disappointing thing to see in this type of game. It's always why I continue to have those reservations, but regardless, I still am really proud of the performance today. But these things can't happen. Thought we were out of the red card phase, if you will, but continues to strike. Really unfortunate to see it happen again. Second thing we learned, Maresca's growing. I think I've said it a few times now that he's also a young manager along with a group of young players. And we saw that with 10 men. We lost against United. I thought he got that very wrong. Brighton, same thing, wasn't great with 10 men. I think we looked fantastic even after the sending off. Maresca set us up to win going into the game. Always had a feeling we were going to see Reece and Gusto start, trying to match that physicality Arsenal bring, and we brought it. Like I was saying earlier on the first point, I thought we were competing really well, and we're unfortunate to not score. And I think the way we were set up is a big part of that. I feel like I don't talk about it as much, but out of possession, I feel like we were so organized. The press was cohesive, and I get so upset seeing people talk about him being the problem with us. There's a lot of things to point at. I think he's the last thing you point at. He continues to grow, and I'm really confident with him at the helm. But again, things in our control, red cards, keep shooting ourselves in the foot here. But I really liked what I saw and the way we set up. Our defensive record has been surprisingly really good, and I think a lot of that comes down to how we set up. So well played, Maresca. Again, just a shame we couldn't have 11 men out there. Third thing, Estevao. We've been super loud about the talent that he is, rightfully so. Today wasn't his day. Taken off at halftime again. Anytime he seems to start, there's a red card. But there were a few chances. I think our biggest chances in that first half that Estevao's on the end of. Skied one. Skied two, actually, one with his right foot running onto. Second one tried to cut inside, curl one. He still created three chances. If that's a bad performance, I'll take more of those. But again, there's a reason he is being eased into the team, because a fan base as impatient as Chelsea's, you can't expose him to that at this age. It's unfortunate. It is what it is. But this kid is still a top talent. Again, if that's one of his bad halves at his age, that performance, this stage, that type of game, the future is so bright with this kid. But again, you have to understand it's not just going to happen every game. He's not going to be a Ballon d'Or nominee next year. Like, you need to understand this is a very young player. He's going to learn, and sometimes it's not going to look great, right? It's not going to come off, but I love what I'm seeing from this kid. I need to continue to see the mentality, always willing to take a guy on. I think Calafiori played really well today. Estevao is a handful for all defenders because, again, he's relentless. And I don't want to see that going away from him. So long may that continue. But again, temper your expectations. Don't forget he's just 18 years old. Fourth thing we learned, I was kind of speaking on a little bit on the second point, but just real men out there today. That was a real performance. Especially after earlier in the year when you see a red card, tend to get a little nervous, especially again, we've done this dance way too many times, in my opinion, already this season. But minutes 1 through 90, the boys were more than up for it physically. And that's what it takes against this Arsenal team. Forgot to mention it when I was talking about Maresca, but even on set pieces, these guys were willing to compete and then make adjustments, sending guys up, throwing off their game plan. I think Robert Sanchez, again, I think I've apologized enough, but ever since the hair surgery, man, I'm telling you, this guy's been a different player. His presence in the back line, being able to come and claim crosses. The set pieces were a huge worry for me coming into this game. And I think for a multitude of reasons, whether it's how we're approaching them defensively or really just the guy's mentality in there and the confidence to defend, they defended like maniacs. And to score off of a set piece, I mean, once we got the red card, 0-0, you take it, get a point out of this game, let's go home. The fact that we scored first on a set piece of all things, it just shows the growth, the confidence. We're not hanging our heads like we might have done so in the past. Um, Garnacho coming on at halftime for Estevao, understanding he had a job to do today. Liam Delap coming on 10 minutes after Joao Pedro. They all understood their jobs today. Enzo Fernandez as well, having to drop into the midfield next to Reece James. I thought Malo Gusto, I don't even know how much he ran today, but he was all over the place, popping up. Cucurella, early yellow, so I think that played a part in the equalizer for Arsenal. Saka had too much space, gets it out of his feet, great cross. Fofana a bit lost in the box, and they get their equalizer. But really, outside of that, I didn't feel like they were too dangerous. They didn't create too many chances, and I think again a lot of that comes down to the work out of possession. These guys worked their tails off, and well-deserved point. Again, just such a shame we couldn't keep all 11 guys on there, but what a performance from the guys. Didn't even shout out Chalobah individually, but been a much better run of form from him. Again, I've always said as a squad player, he doesn't deserve this pressure of starting every week and the criticism that comes with it. But again, showing his mentality, continues to put his head down, work hard, and play his way out of it. He was fantastic today. Wesley Fofana outside of the goal, I thought he was also immense. But the most immense, number 5, this guy, Reece James. There's also been debates with his name involved at right back with Timber. He did not play at right back today. He played defensive midfield next to Caicedo until he got sent off, and it was him and Enzo Fernandez. He was unbelievable. I've questioned him in midfield before starting in the midfield. I feel like it's a different role than inverting from fullback. He was everywhere today, and physically was the big difference that I saw. With the amount of injuries that this guy's had to go through, I think not only physically but mentally, it's a lot to come back from. And I almost get a little nervous every time I see a full sprint from him or the physical duels that he's entertaining with other players. But man, he was absolutely immense today, just shrugging guys off the ball in possession. He was absolutely everywhere, and it's really high praise, but it's almost like I didn't notice Caicedo was gone, right? Because Reece James was covering so much ground. I thought Andre Santos might have come on at some point. His work without the ball has been really good as of late. So I thought we might have seen that, but Reece James put in an absolute shift. Again, I'm so happy just to be able to watch this guy play after all the injuries, and you almost feel like he'll never be able to come back the same. The amount of work, like I was talking with Chalobah's mentality, this guy as well, Reece James, really growing into that armband. Got called out last year for that, not lack of leadership, but almost a bit of timidness, and you're really seeing him step out of those shoes and really be the leader he needs to be for this group. So really exciting stuff. Would have loved to get the win, but at the end of the day, you don't drop the points. You're able to hang on, and I think the performance, not necessarily reflecting the result. I'm really proud of the performance. I thought Arsenal were stifled today, and they've looked fantastic, beating the brakes off Tottenham, and then Bayern Munich as well getting a win. But that was my 5 things that we learned. Again, would have loved to pick up the full 3 points, but really happy with the performance and looking forward to seeing what we can do in midweek. Thank you for watching, and see you later.